and welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. It's kind of a weird episode today. It's definitely out of the ordinary and, isn't about Bigfoot, which is usually what we talk about here at Mountain Beast Mysteries. Something weird happened. Something weird happened last Monday. Something that was very alarming to me and very shocking. And I'm still struggling to believe that it even actually happened. The only thing keeping me believing is the fact that I caught this thing on video. I was able to capture a quick clip of a UFO in the sky at about 11:45 p.m. on Monday night, the 30th of May. So we're going to get into that in this video. You saw at the very beginning a little clip there. That's an enhanced version of it that I kind of tried to clean up on the computer. I tried to kind of boost the contrast a bit and make the actual craft appear a bit lighter, and it worked out more or less okay. I tried to run it through some video enhancement software, but it made it look even worse. Now, this is a really weird story. This craft, this UFO came back 3 more times after I initially saw it. And I guess I should run you guys through what actually happened. So it was about 11:45 p.m. on last Monday, the 30th. I was outside here on my patio, just had the sliding door open. I was just outside the door. I was watching the stars. It was a really clear night, a really, really clear night. And I was about to go back inside and something caught my attention out of the corner of my eye. It was like a flash of light. So I looked up at it, and what I saw was the most mind-blowing, creepy, unusual thing that I have ever seen in my entire life. And I've seen some weird stuff. In this initial sighting, what I saw was a row of about 6 or 7 lights. I can't specifically remember because I didn't really have time to count each individual light, but I think it was about 6 or 7, and they were all in a line, and they flew from north to south directly over top of my building and literally directly over top of where I was standing. And I'm on the top floor of this building, so when I look up on this patio, it's just the sky. And then there's another big new building here that they just built. But this thing came over that building and over my building, and it was moving dead quiet. It was absolutely silent. And this row of lights, not only was it moving from north to south, but while it was moving in a straight line, the whole thing was spinning in circles. And I whipped up a little kind of a reenactment thing, a little recreation in Adobe. It's kind of shitty, but it's the best I could do in that software. I whipped up this recreation for you guys to get a sense of exactly what I saw. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, so that is very weird, right? It was spinning while moving, almost exactly like it is in that recreation. I tried to make it as accurate as possible. The size of it is accurate to what I saw. That's how close it was or how big it was. It's hard to tell if it was super close or very, very large, but I know obviously for a fact it was higher than this building behind me, but I don't know the actual altitude. It's really hard to judge that. So anyways, once I saw that and it went over this building and disappeared out of my sight, like it was quick, like it was a couple seconds, 2.5, maybe 3 seconds. But once it disappeared, I literally ran inside here and closed the door and locked it. And I had tears in my eyes because I was shocked. I didn't know what to make of it. It was literally the most unusual thing that I've ever seen. Something that shouldn't exist, but that I saw, and I knew I saw it, and I knew it was unusual. I knew exactly right away what it was. And I knew, based on the clarity of it and how close it was, that it couldn't be anything else than a UFO, an alien craft, or an interdimensional craft of some kind. I knew that right away. And so I ran inside here. I had tears in my eyes. I kind of paced around a little bit. So I did that, and right after I grabbed my night vision binoculars because I figured I should probably, gather up the courage to go back out there, sit on one of the chairs, and try and get this thing on video, because no one's going to believe this. The way I describe it sounds crazy, right? And nobody's going to believe it. So anyways, I'm out there, I don't know, for maybe a half hour, and I'm set up, I got my night vision, I had my camera, I had, recording equipment because I wanted to get this thing on video. And I had a good feeling that I could probably do it. Sure enough, after like half an hour, this thing came back and it flew from a different direction. It flew from east to west and it was dead quiet again, and it went in that direction. Now here's the really shitty part about this experience is that when I was sitting out on the patio with my night vision binoculars, I had them turned up towards the sky and it was on, and I hit the record button and I was sitting there recording like very long clips because I didn't want to miss anything. When this thing came back the second time, out of excitement, I forgot that I had hit that record button. Sorry. I had forgot that I hit that record button. So when I saw it flying over, directly over top of my head, I hit the record button to record, but I was already recording. So what I had done was I stopped the recording. I immediately knew that I had screwed up. And I hit the record button again and I was able to capture this clip.
First off, you can see that the date in the bottom is wrong. It says 2019. We're going to get into that in just a second. Let's just go through this footage. Now you can see here the lights moving. The direction is, like I said, east to west, and it's dead quiet. I mean, this night vision camera doesn't record sound anyways, but this craft was dead quiet. And you can see that the lights aren't as they were as described in the first sighting. They're a bit different. You know, in the first sighting there was 6 or 7 lights, like I said, and in this one it doesn't look like there's as much, but I had a feeling that this thing, you know, had the ability to change its form or change the arrangement of lights. Before there was more lights, it looks like there's fewer lights now. And when I initially saw this thing flying over the second time, like when it was actually going over top of my head, it looked as if there was more lights, but as it moved on, it appears to have changed. It kind of looks like there's only 2 or 3 lights, and then it moves off into the horizon. And then the third and fourth time it came, it was different as well. But we'll get into that later on. I just wanted to show you this footage.
So in this clip, this craft is already pretty far away because this thing was hauling, like it was moving fast. And you know, like this is all I have for footage, but I'm confident that I can get this thing on video again. I feel like if it came back 3 more times that it would probably come back again if I was sitting out there, you know, if I really wanted it to. I can't believe I screwed up the footage. Now also in the video clip, you can see that the date on it says 2019, and that is because I did not set the date on that night vision camera. I'm a terrible investigator for that. I realize I fucked up there, but that's just how it was. That's what happened. And I didn't realize it until after I put the footage on the computer. But yeah, you can see in some of the footage from my Boots on Bigfoot episode 1 video, my night vision footage from that trip using the same camera also says 2019. It's just unfortunate. Like it's a fuck up on my part, and I'm really sorry, but this is the best that I did at that time. Now the date on the camera is changed as of now, so if it happens again, you know, it'll have the correct date, the correct time, and all that. But also the using the night vision binoculars, like it's zoomed in quite a bit, and it's hard to acquire targets in the sky, and it's also hard to focus on them. Now if I'm using this camera, it's got a really nice wide angle lens on it with an f2 aperture. If I set the focus to infinity and crank the ISO up on it, it's way easier to record stuff in the sky, and it's higher quality because I don't have to try and find it. I can just point it up and pretty much cover the whole sky outside my building. You know, so the next time I go out, I wanted to go out today. It's a cloudy day, it's rainy, so I don't know if I'd see much. but something tells me that nothing would stop these things from appearing below the clouds, you know? Now, like I said, this thing came back 3 times. So I waited probably another, 15 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes. And this thing came back again. And this time it was flying from it was flying from the direction that it had went that second time. So this third time it was going from west to east. And it was really fast that time, but I knew again it was the exact same object. It just behaved in the same way as it did the other times. It's weird. Like, this craft appeared to have the ability to like change the orientation of the lights, like the pattern that they were in, because the third time it looked like they were almost in like a rectangular shape. And the fourth time it was the same rectangular shape again. Now, when I saw it the fourth time, I wasn't able to record it the third time. It was too fast and I missed it. But the fourth time this thing came back is kind of a funny story. So I'm sitting out here in one of my chairs. I don't know if you can see because of the highlights behind me outside are kind of blown out on the camera, but there's a little wall separating my balcony and my neighbors. You can like look around and see like me in here and vice versa. I was sitting in my chair and I got my night vision binoculars and I got like dried tears in my eyes, and all of a sudden I hear the neighbor's like sliding door open up. So I'm like, oh great, like what are these people doing out here at this hour? If they see me, they're gonna think I'm some sort of weirdo, like outside with tears in my eyes and night vision binoculars. But anyways, I looked over and I could see this guy, the neighbor, who recently moved in here. I don't even know them. I hadn't met them before. I could see him peeking around to see if I was here, because I think he heard me. He must have heard me. And I looked right at him and I'm like, hey man, like, how's it going? I didn't know what else to say. And then he asked me like what my name was and everything. I told him my name was Justin. And then I said it's a nice night to look at the stars. And I didn't know what to say. Like, I was in a weird state. Like, I didn't know what to say. He said, oh, there's actually a meteor shower tonight, or supposed to be a meteor shower tonight. Which made sense after he said it, because during all this, I did see 2 meteors, which were very clear. You know what a meteor looks like. There's no mistaking it, really. And this craft that I saw is completely different. Now, I don't know if they're connected, the two, like the UFO sighting and the meteor shower. I don't know if they're connected. I don't know if it happened because there was some sort of meteor event going on. I have no idea. It was just a coincidence, I guess, maybe. So he said that, and while this guy's talking to me, he's facing like this direction in here. While he's talking, I'm looking up at the sky, and I shit you not, this thing came back the 4th time in this rectangular pattern and came from the same direction and did pretty much the same thing it did the 3rd time it came. And this guy, my neighbor, has no idea. I didn't say anything. I just watched it. And while this guy's talking, I'm thinking in my head, like, dude, like, leave, man, because you just, like, screwed up another chance of me filming this thing. I was kind of frustrated, So anyways, he ended up going back inside after that. He still doesn't know that this thing happened, that a UFO appeared right behind him while he was talking to me. And maybe he won't find out unless he sees this video, but I'm sure I'll run into him again. Like, right now, it's June 6th, Monday. This was a week ago. I just got back from an expedition yesterday to the Nordegg area looking for Sasquatch. I wanted to make this video last Tuesday, right after it happened, but I wasn't ready. Like, I couldn't, or I've tried to record it and I couldn't articulate what I wanted to say in a way without, fumbling my words and being completely comfortable talking about it on camera, because this is like a big deal. This is something that people dream of seeing. This is something also that a lot of people fear of seeing, and it's something that we don't understand, and it's something that, like, I want to learn more about. I've been spending all these years looking for Sasquatch out in Nordegg, out in the Rocky Mountains, out in British Columbia, and I haven't found anything as substantial as what I saw last Monday in the sky. I'm downtown Edmonton. I'm the capital of Alberta. Like, I'm in a big city. This is downtown in a big city. What I want to do is find out, I don't know how I'm going to find out, but I want to find out if somebody out there around saw this thing as well. And I wonder if the first time I saw it was actually the first time it, made an appearance in the sky that night. I wonder if it maybe, passed by before and I just didn't notice it. I wonder if it came back after. Because after it came back the fourth time, I waited around like another half hour or so, or, maybe a little bit more. And nothing happened. And I kind of felt the feeling that the moment had kind of passed. I felt like it probably won't come back. So I went inside and I just hung out in here, and I stayed up all night. I paced around in here thinking about it, talking to myself for like 2 hours. And I ended up staying up all night and just like sitting on the couch and then lying down on the couch watching a movie because I didn't want to fall asleep. This is the first time in my life that I was genuinely scared that I was going to be abducted by aliens, or that they were going to appear in here, or, something crazy was going to happen. And I'm kind of nervous about releasing this video because what if somebody shows up here? We hear all these nightmare stories about men in black and like all this weird shit like that happening. Is that going to happen? I guess having a YouTube channel with over 100,000 subscribers is good because you're kind of high profile. So if anything happened, if I disappeared or anything like that, I don't think they would actually make an attempt because people would be like, where's Justin? Like, he made this video about UFOs. He mentioned he was kind of worried about this Men in Black thing. What happened to him? Something must have happened. If you're high profile, I think they think twice of doing stuff like that, The question is, what did I actually see? What was it? It's obviously a UFO. Is it controlled by alien life? Or is it controlled by some sort of high-tech? Is it some kind of high-tech human-created craft, or like a military spacecraft? That's one of the biggest debates in the UFO field nowadays. Is what are these things? Are they aliens? Are they interdimensional beings? Or is it government craft? I feel like this thing, whatever it was, wanted me to see it. I think it was trying to get my attention when it was doing that spinny thing because it was very incredible. It was like as scary as it was and as alarming and shocking and disturbing as it was fascinating. And it did catch my eye. At the right time, I almost didn't see it. Like I was about to come inside and I was doing a turning movement to come back in here, and that's when it caught my eye. Like a light flash of some kind, and I looked up and sure enough, this thing was flying over, spinning. And, I am a very level-headed guy, and I don't make claims very often, like at all, especially in Bigfoot. I guess because I haven't seen Bigfoot with my own eyes, but I saw this thing with my own eyes, and I swear to God this actually happened, And I know I wasn't going crazy either because I caught this video clip of it. That was another thing. I've been in my head so much the last week just thinking about that, like wondering if I was going crazy. And then I remember dude, you got it on video. You're not going crazy because there it is right there, in the footage. So the question is, what is it? Now, I'm a huge fan of the documentary Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. The UFO craft and the alien beings in that documentary, the footage in that documentary, you have to watch this, by the way. It's a fascinating documentary. It's really well made. It's really good. It has lots of great images and videos of UFOs. The craft in this documentary are extremely, extremely similar in look and behavior to what I saw. This thing it appeared to just come out of nowhere and then zip by and disappear into the horizon. It had elements of maybe something interdimensional for sure. It had that vibe to it, and it was dead quiet. I feel like if there's a physical object in the sky moving around due to wind, it has to push through wind, I feel like that makes noise, and it's just nothing. So it's is this some sort of materialized UFO craft or partially materialized craft? In this Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind documentary, Dr. Stephen Greer explains that these craft can sometimes appear as solid metallic craft. They're fully manifested into this reality, and they appear as an actual craft. But he says that a lot of times they're not fully here. They're partially materialized in this reality. They will appear as either like maybe a transparent kind of craft, or a light, or a series of lights, you know? So I don't know. I really don't know what else to really say about it other than it freaked me out. Like, I was freaked, for sure. More scared than I've ever been looking for Bigfoot out in the wilderness, man. Like, I had tears in my eyes the whole night. And obviously, like, the big worry, like, now I understand, like, when people are scared of criticism, like in the Bigfoot world, they're scared to come out with their story of what they saw, what they experienced. I can understand why, for sure. I was nervous telling people really close to me. They were gonna think I'm losing my goddamn mind. But it's on camera, so that's all I can say is that I didn't imagine it. It was there. I managed to get it on video, even if it's just a brief clip. You know, this thing was moving fast, and being able to like acquire a light like that, or a series of lights like that with these night vision binoculars that are zoomed in, you know, I think I did all right for my first piece of UFO footage. But you know, I have a good feeling that if I keep going out there and looking up at the stars and actually making an effort to see stuff in the sky, that I'll probably see something again. That's the thing, a lot of people don't pay